Welcome to the Next Step Recovery podcast. We call this more than recovery because addiction is so much more than just getting clean from our addictions, our strongholds. It's really finding our purpose in life, and that's what we're here for each and every day. I like to say that we have three purposes here at the Next Step Recovery podcast. The first purpose is to encourage people, to encourage those who are struggling in their addiction or just in life. It doesn't have to be an addiction. It could be anything. So we want to encourage you. Number two, we want to educate you. We want to help you help other people. We want to help you help others. And then finally, we want to expand our reach. We want to expand our impact. We want to expand our partners. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to a great show. All right. Hey, Robert.
What's going on?
Okay, one more time. Yes. We are just knocking them out.
We're here together.
We're going to talk about another topic today. This will be a good one.
Yeah.
How come people don't like me? You know, again, we're talking about...
It's a good question.
Yeah, we're talking about relationships here, really. We're talking about how to be a good human being, right? And we were just talking before the podcast started about, what are some things that drive people not to like other people?
Yeah.
Well, if you don't take a bath for a month, people aren't going to like you. They're not going to want to be around you. If you don't brush your teeth, if you're rude, if you're... And I like what Mark was saying. Mark's our camera guy, podcast recorder, and he was saying when he was teaching middle schoolers that if somebody says something about you like, well, you're short, well, I can't change that. But if they do say, well, you pop your gum all the time, well, you can change that.
Yep.
And if you can change it, change it. If you can't change it, You learn to be who you are, right? Yep. And you can't let what people say about you affect you. But I wrote a blog a while back, and that's what I'm using kind of here as my notes on this is why don't people like me? And it kind of centers around charisma. When I say charisma, what do you think of?
I mean, it's like kind of like swagger, right? Like you're running around like, kind of, I think it also kind of links to a little bit of self-confidence too.
Yeah, we just talked about that in the last podcast.
Yeah.
Charisma is kind of, this person who, when he walks in the room and everybody, hey, there's Joe.
Yeah, there's that guy.
Man, everybody wants to talk to Joe, and they all want to hang around him, right? It's kind of like a pastor after he preaches his sermon on Sunday. Everybody wants to go talk to the pastor, right? Because he's the one who communicated the message, and so everybody wants to go and talk to him and say, hey,
be around that guy.
Be around that guy, right? He's got the influence. He's the in guy. So most of us. Again, there are some people who don't care if they're liked.
Yeah.
Some people who are just like, I don't care if you like me or not. And I can be like that in a sense, especially if it's somebody who is a person who is probably, they're a bad person anyway. They're just somebody who is not good for me or my family or something. I'll probably be like, I really don't care if they like me because I have no interest in them, right? But there's people that I want to like me.
Yeah.
But they may not, right? And some people, let's not be ignorant here. There's going to be some people that just don't like you.
Yep.
And that's okay. They're just not going. There's people, there's a guy in the church here who for the longest time, I couldn't figure out why he seemed so rude to me. I would speak to him, but it's funny. After I got to know him, I was put in a situation where I got to know him a little bit, and then that changed, Now we're, hey, how you doing? We speak, and we're not best friends, but there's some people have things going on in their life. I found this out. You think they're rude, but really they just have something going on in their life and you find out later, oh,
that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Her husband just got cancer. Or, her child has been in the hospital for 6 months and you don't, and you're like, okay, now I understand why they're so standoffish or why they're so, but most of us want to be like, there's very few people who don't care if they're like, many people struggle making solid connections with people. And blame it on a number of personalities. Yeah. We can blame it on personality, luck.
Yeah.
Right? Just luck. introverts versus extroverts.
Oh, yeah.
And the prevailing thought is that extroverts build good relationships and introverts don't. Actually,
sometimes that's not the case.
That's right. Actually, introverts can be more congenial and more personal. They may not light up the whole room, but when they come in, they make strong connections.
Yeah, I'm very much extroverted. I love being around people and just being out and stuff. But there are definitely downsides to being an extrovert, because if you're not careful, you can be very ignorant to what people because at least in my experience, like I would go and I really don't care what people think about me in general, but that can be very dangerous, because in college I used to be very much into politics, and I would just say my opinion and all the other opinions were wrong kind of idea. So I had a lot of people who got very frustrated with me and saw me in a very negative light because I didn't respect their opinion, and I just was kind of beat bopping around saying, oh, well, this is going on, and I think this is wrong, and I don't care if you don't respect my opinion, I'm not going to respect yours type thing. So being an extrovert, it can really there's a lot of positives to it, but there also can be negatives, very big negatives.
Yeah.
So
actually, a lot of data shows it's better to be an introvert than an extrovert. So extroverts can tend to be a little bit overbearing sometimes. They can tend to be show-offs, loudmouths. I'm not saying that about you. It's just
it's true though. I mean, it's very true.
We have to learn people skills.
Yep.
We're always growing. We're always learning people skills. I work with a group of men who spend a large part of their life in prison, in jail, probation, addicted. I've had to learn how to talk to them. Yep. It's different than sitting down and talking to somebody who's never been there.
Yep.
Right? It's completely different. There's things they don't even understand. I had this conversation yesterday with one of our guys about, look, you don't have to fight everybody. You can you can walk away.
Yep.
Well, that shows that I'm a coward. No, it shows you're a man.
Yep.
It shows that you're not going to let that person control your emotions.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You're not going to let that person's emotional outbursts control your actions.
Yep.
That's what a man does. A man knows self-control. And so that's foreign to them. For me, I'm going, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's, but then there's people that, everybody likes them. Everybody likes Robert, right? Or everybody likes Henry, or everybody likes Mark, and you're like, man, why does, they just have that charisma, right? They have that swagger, if you will. And
it kind of attracts people.
There's this attractiveness to them, right? And charisma is not necessarily something that we're born with.
No.
It's something that we learn. Now, there are people who are born with a certain amount of that swagger.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's just natural to them.
Naturally charismatic.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's not true. That's not true at all. Even in counseling, I've had to learn how to be a better counselor.
Yeah.
You learn things, you adjust things. Being a husband, being a father, all those things you learn, right? It's no different here. Yes, there are some people who are more naturally charismatic and that people gravitate to them.
Yeah.
You think of, I'm not promoting this or endorsing this in any way, but you think about somebody like a Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Right. Who doesn't want to be around Taylor Swift today, right? Look what she's done for the Chiefs.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I read yesterday she's brought in like $315 million for the NFL and the Chiefs because she's driven up Super Bowl ticket prices, her alone. And that's going to mean more revenue for the NFL because everybody wants to be with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But that's today.
Yeah.
5 years from now,
who knows?
Who's Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the crazy thing.
Right. So anyway, so what exactly is charisma? Charisma is, according to Vanessa Van Edwards, who is a behavioral scientist, if you will. She says that there's three things that lend to being charismatic. Okay, to be for people who are really, really liked. Okay, and you think about Jesus. He wasn't very well liked by a lot of people. So we understand that, when we're talking about being liked, we're not talking about that's always a good thing, because sometimes we may compromise on our values in order to be liked. And we should not compromise on our values to be liked. No. Not on our Christian values to be liked, because the Bible is very clear. The world's not going to like you, right? But we shouldn't do things that we can change that are keeping people from and for us connecting to them, because if I connect to people, I want to connect to people for the cause of the gospel.
That's right.
Right. I don't want to alienate people. Just because I may disagree with their lifestyle doesn't mean I'm going to alienate them. So I can't communicate the gospel to them. Mm-hmm. I don't want to shut them down. So she says, we talked about this the last podcast, self-awareness, right? So we're going to get a little bit better definition here of self-awareness. And then she says, and warmth and competence. Competence, right? So self-awareness, being self-aware.
Yep.
Being warm as an individual. What I mean by warm, welcoming.
Yep.
Cool, calm, right? Mm-hmm. And then being competent, right?
Yeah.
And competence means letting people know where I'm not competent.
Yeah.
Don't act like you are something that you're not.
That you're not.
People will see through that really, really fast.
Yeah, you'll be surprised how many people can read fakeness in certain individuals.
That's right. Yeah. So number one, self-aware. A self-aware person knows their strengths and their weaknesses. They don't pretend they're something they are not. I used to be very insecure about my lack of mechanical skills. I am not a mechanic. I barely know how to put gas in my car. I put diesel fuel. One time I put straight gas in a diesel truck. That's how bad I am, right? That was not a good scenario at all. When you put straight gas in a diesel truck, you just destroyed that truck. Yep. I did that. I filled the thing up from empty to full with straight gas. And then I had to tow the thing back. Yep. So I've learned, you know what? I'm just flat out honest. I am an idiot when it comes to anything mechanical. And I used to try to cover that up. And my wife wants something fixed around that. I could take care of that. And finally, now she just looks at me and she goes, no, you need to call somebody. You can't do that. Please don't do that. Yeah. Please call the plumber. Right. It's going to cost us more money, So just, I'm an idiot. And that's okay. And my self-awareness allows myself to call myself an idiot. I have a shirt at home that says, I'm an idiot. And I wear that when I'm trying to do anything mechanical around the house. Yeah. So, but people see through fakes, like we said. Self-aware people know their strengths. They work in their strengths and they give away their weaknesses. Yep. They give them away. I hire somebody to take care of those things. Yep. Right. A weakness for me would be everything that we're looking at right now. Okay, to do this podcast, the sound system, the cameras, the lights. So I call Mark Scheidler and I say, Mark, this is my weakness. I'm going to pay you to do this, right? And he does it.
I need your help.
Right? Give away your weaknesses, or hire them away. I'm honest about my emotions. Hey, I'm honest about how I'm feeling. I'm honest about how you're making me feel in a kind way, right? And sometimes we're afraid to do that. Self-awareness takes work.
Yes.
To recognize what my emotions are and correct them. Yep. To recognize what my thinking is and cast it down. The Bible says to cast down those thoughts and imaginations that are working against me, right? To cast those things down. Okay, that takes work. It takes effort to do that. So a warm or a charismatic person is a person they're confident because they know what their strengths are and they're operating in them. Yep. Mm-hmm. And the things they're not confident, they're giving away. Yeah. Right. And so they can walk in this kind of this aura almost of being very confident. Right. So number two, a likable person, a likable person is going to be warm. What do I mean by warm?
I mean, I would say like welcoming,
Okay.
you know, like you walk into a room and people are like, oh yeah, look at that guy. Like, I think that he's, you know, they want to kind of, you know, they want to be friends with you. They want to talk to you. They want to, you know, just like be, it's kind of weird to say, but be in your presence in a sense.
A warm person gives off cues that I'm welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
I put you at ease.
Yeah.
You can come talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they give off these, I'm approachable.
Yeah.
I'm understanding. I may not understand, but I'm attempting to understand. I'm listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm going to let you talk.
Yeah.
Right. In this podcast, I have to work at not interrupting.
Yeah.
You're not say, oh, let me jump in there. Right. I'm working to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And like when I was in college, I was a resident assistant, which is like one of the head of the dorms. And we were in the freshman dorm, which is always fun. And you had to be a welcoming individual.
Yeah. Right.
Because those students would come to you and talk to you about stuff that they're struggling with. And it kind of forced you to be in a position where you are a welcoming person.
Yeah.
Because ultimately your job is to talk to them. And, you know, if the student needs something, you know, you help them in that. So you're kind of forced to be a warm person and to be a welcoming person. But it's something that we just kind of did, and it wasn't hard for us. You know, like I enjoyed talking to the students, and we enjoyed having those conversations with them and making them feel like, oh yeah, I can go talk to this person about absolutely anything. So
and if somebody comes to you, with something, and I don't have time for you. I don't have time for this right now. And I may not have time for it. So here's what I've learned. Hey, I would love to have this conversation with you. I can't right now because I've got another appointment, or I got another engagement. Here's my phone number. Here's my email. Yeah. Text me, call me, email. Let's set up a time to talk about this. I haven't been rude about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've said I can't do this now. And that happens a lot. Yeah.
And I've put myself in situations, especially in that, where it's like I was, I would have students knock on my door at 3 a.m. having a really, really like something really important to talk about. And a lot of times, like I was like, oh, can this wait till tomorrow? Because I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm probably not in the best state of mind now
let's
to
do
talk
this tomorrow.
about
So.
But in their mind, it's that important.
It's so important that they had to bang on my door to wake me up.
My dog died.
Yeah.
My mom just called. My dog died.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding there. Yeah. But so they give off cues.
Mm-hmm.
I have a smile. I'm not scowling. I'm not walking. I keep a smile on my face.
Yep.
Right. I give full attention to the person when they're engaging in conversation with me. I have no uninviting expressions.
Yeah.
Right. When they come to me and talk to me, even if it's not convenient, I'm not, get away. I can't talk about
I don't want to talk to you right now.
Right. I'm relaxed. I put that person at ease.
Yeah.
Right. I put that person at ease. They're comfortable. And yet that takes work. It doesn't just happen.
Yeah. It takes a lot of effort to do that.
It takes work. So warmth inspires trust. And that's what people are looking for. People like people they can trust.
Yeah.
They like people who keep their word.
Yeah,
and if you don't keep your word, they're not going to like you.
Yeah.
So that warmth inspires people. And if they feel, if you inspire people, they're going to want to be around you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. People want to be around people who they're inspired by. Our Tuesday night meeting, we call it Thrive. Mm-hmm. The whole purpose of Thrive is to be inspiring, to be encouraging, to be uplifting. That's the whole purpose of that meeting, because people, they want to feel something. And then with that, we introduce them to the gospel, and we show them who Jesus is and what he says about these issues.
Yeah.
And so it's a great, so God wants us to be, he wants us to be welcoming. Mm-hmm. He does. Jesus was welcoming.
Very
Not
much
everybody
so.
liked him, but he was a friend of sinners.
Yep.
He was, the Bible says he had compassion on those around him, and he inspired people so much. But there's people who still didn't like him.
No.
So understand, in likability, when we're talking about likability, there's still going to be people who don't like you, But as long as you're not compromising, you have to live with that and understand there's going to be there's people who don't like me at church. There's people who don't like me. And I understand that. And I'm making sure it's nothing that's wrong with me, that there's just other reasons. So, and finally, competent. People like competent people. They do what they say they're going to do.
Yep.
Again, it comes back to trust. They understand their job and they do it to the best of their ability. They understand what's supposed to happen, what they're supposed to do. They're not blunt. They're not rude. They get the job done. They understand what is not their job, and what's not their job. They ask, "Can I help you in it?" And if they say no, they walk away. They don't force themselves. I know people who will force themselves on you and force themselves on you and I get turned off by that.
Yep.
Right? We have people who their personalities are such as they're just going to force. They'll wear you out. And if you're wearing people out, people are going to avoid you.
Yep.
If you're wearing people out, they're going to avoid you. So competent people, people are drawn to competent people. And then I'll say this last, it's a person who, likable people treat everyone with respect and kindness.
Yeah.
I have very good friends who have completely different beliefs than I do.
Yeah.
On everything. They're atheists.
Yeah.
They may even be part of the alternative lifestyle crowd, if you will, the LGBTQ. And I have a person that I work with quite often on a number of issues for Next Step, who is in that we disagree, but you know what? My job is to treat him with kindness. After last year, after he helped us with a bunch of things, I wrote him a thank you note. I said, man, I appreciate you so much. You've done so much for us. Thank you for all you do. You work so hard for us.
Yep.
What's that do for me and him? It keeps that door open.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Christ, it keeps that door open. He knows who we are. He knows what we do. Mm-hmm. And he still loves us.
Yeah.
He still loves us. That's amazing to me.
That's big.
Yeah, he still loves us. And so just because we disagree on some things doesn't mean we have to be militant about things.
And that's especially today, like that's all it is.
Right.
If you have a differing opinion of someone else, you go to the name calling, all of that stuff. But it's possible to be friends with the person who completely disagrees with the stuff you agree with.
Right.
So.
Right. I'll be honest with you. If I'm going to buy a car and the best car guy in town is an atheist, I'm going to him over a Christian who doesn't know much about cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to go to the expert, whether he's an atheist or a whatever. Yeah. Right. That's what I'm going to do. And because the relationship is there.
Yeah. So
we've got to treat each other with kindness and respect. Doesn't mean we compromise.
Yeah.
We got to be, it doesn't mean we're compromising and start going into agreement with them. We just understand we disagree.
Yep.
We do. And we could even have that discussion, but as long as we have it respectfully.
Yeah.
We can do that. We have lost the ability in this country to have respectful disagreements with each other.
Yep.
And still be friends.
Yeah.
And still love one another and still care about one another and still get things done. You look at our politicians today; they can't get anything done.
No,
they can't.
They bicker and squabble about that stuff. So.
Yeah, I was talking to my son last night. Somebody said something about the news channels, CNN versus Fox and blah blah blah, and Andrew was like. They're all clowns.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but everybody gets into those debates, and I appreciate him being able to step back and say, you know what,
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. So likable people, they're warm, they're competent, they're self-aware, and they know how to treat each other.
Yep.
With kindness and respect, no matter what the topic and what the disagreement, right?
Yeah.
And if you find yourself heated over something, walk away.
Yeah.
Just walk away from that.
You can make some really dumb decisions if you answer stuff in your anger and in your feelings.
Yeah.
You can get yourself in a lot of trouble for doing that.
Right. Well, Robert, great discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope I go out there today and somebody likes me. And no, I appreciate if you got any. Again, if you have questions for us or just a comment, you can reach us at www.nextstepmin.org.
Yep.
We'll be glad to talk with you. And please share these podcasts, subscribe to them, share them out. That way we increase our reach. And we just appreciate you so much watching and listening. Have a great, great day.